Will Rogers for the defense. May it please the court.
It will.
Your Honor, opposing counsel, members of the jury. The Parks were playing a game of chance long before the children got their hands on the gun. Now, today, you're going to hear the tragic story of two 11-year-olds, Sydney Park and Jesse Durant. You're going to hear how these children managed to so easily get into the Park safe and obtain their gun that unfortunately cost the life of Sydney Park on August 18, 2010. But, Your Honor, today, the plaintiff is claiming a story that is not completely true. See, on August 18, 2010, Jesse and Sydney, home alone, were able to easily get a combination to the Park safe that held the gun owned by Miss Andy Park. Now, at first, these children were just posing with the gun, never pulling the trigger. But as children get bored, and they do, Jesse began to watch cartoons and Sydney disappeared for a couple minutes. And when Sydney later returned with the gun, Sydney wanted to play a game. Now, this game is the ultimate game of chance, roulette. Jesse, unknowing that the gun was loaded, agreed to play the game on this fateful day. According to the rules, Sydney lifted the gun, pointed it at Jesse, and pulled the trigger. Click. The gun did not go off, and as the next step in the game, Jesse did the same. Jesse lifted the gun, pointed it at Sydney, and pulled the trigger. Bang. The gun went off, and Sydney tragically and unfortunately lost her life on that fateful day. Now, the plaintiff in today's case has to prove 4 elements throughout their case. They have taken on the burden of negligent parental supervision. And to prove this, they must first prove that Hayden Duran did not properly warn Jesse about the dangers of guns. Second, they must prove Hayden Duran did not properly warn the Parks about Jesse's violent behavior and possession of guns. Third, Jesse must have created an unreasonable risk of bodily harm to Sydney Park. And lastly, Hayden and Jesse Duran's actions were the direct and proximate cause of Sydney Park's death on August 18, 2010. As the defense, we're taking an affirmative defense in today's case. What that means simply is, if by the preponderance of the evidence, which means more likely than not, in other terms, if you have 2 decks of cards, and one is simply higher than the other one, or equal to in any way, then you cannot find Hayden Duran liable. To prove this to you, Your Honor, and members of the jury, we will be calling 3 witnesses in today's case. First, we'll be calling Terry Chapman. Terry Chapman is going to tell you what happened moments after the accident on August 18, 2010. He'll also tell you how surprised and confused and just the blatant shock of Jesse's emotions at that point. Second, we will be calling Ash DeRosa. Ash DeRosa is going to tell and show you how the Parks simply stored their gun negligently, unacceptably. The Parks stored their combination in the wrong place so that children could so easily access it. Lastly, we'll be calling Jesse Duran. Jesse Duran is going to tell you what happened on the day of August 18th. She'll tell you that it's Sydney's idea to play this game and how Sydney wanted to play with the revolver. Members of the jury, the Parks were playing a game of chance long before the children got their hands on the gun. My co-counsel, Adrian Camacho, will come before you today and ask you to find Hayden Duran not liable, because the evidence will show today that is the only answer to this case. Thank you.
Plaintiff's counsel, do you have any witnesses to call?
I do, Your Honor. The plaintiff calls Danny Brooks.